I just love how the radical left, these wingnut people, honestly, there's no other way to describe them.
Yeah.
They just have a way of taking something like murder,
Right.
and just using vocabulary that just Planned Parenthood.
Right.
You know, it takes all the intensity out of it, all the wickedness out of it. It just
Yeah.
kind of so poetic almost. You know?
So what were they doing there?
Yeah. Well, so they have, it is their national convention. But
Yeah.
what is really bizarre was they invited Planned Parenthood
Yeah.
to show up and literally to provide free abortions.
Well, hey there, you're watching What Was That About? Thank you for joining us for today's episode. I'm Moses Khan. I am with Dr. Tony Soldano, who's the lead pastor here at All People's Church. How you doing, Pastor?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Looking very summery
Yes.
in your...
Yeah, I'm trying to get the most out of what's left in the short summer we get in Canada.
It's, you know what? It has been a record rainfall year, by the way. I don't
Has
know if
it?
you knew that. Like,
Yes. We've gotten
yeah,
flooding.
incredible amount of rain.
Yeah, a lot of rain.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyways.
hopefully it'll be dry
Yeah.
from here on in.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully.
What do you think about what's going on in the States? Fast, hard right turn.
It's disturbing.
Yeah.
It is, disturbing. I know we're going to talk about some things in politics. Not that we're here to talk about politics, but we want to speak obviously about morality. And we want to speak about some
Yeah.
of the things that we are witnessing. They're our neighbors to the south and, of course, the most powerful country in the world. And so
Yeah.
they wield a lot of influence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the Democratic Party just had a national
Convention, yeah.
convention.
Yeah. To appoint Kamala Harris there as
Yeah. Yeah.
their nominee.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's another
Is
story.
that who you
Clearly not.
just wanted to throw that in?
Clearly not.
But there was some other stuff going on there. Planned Parenthood was there,
Yeah. Isn't that a nice
helping people.
Isn't that a nice term?
Helping people
It kind of just rolls
parent?
off the tongue, eh?
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood.
Right.
I just love how the radical left, these wingnut people, honestly, there's no other way to describe them.
Yeah.
They just have a way of taking something like murder
Right.
and just using vocabulary that just Planned Parenthood.
Right.
It takes all the intensity out of it, all the wickedness out of it. It just
Yeah.
kind of so poetic almost.
So what were they doing there?
Yeah. Well, so they have, it is their national convention. But
Yeah.
what is really bizarre was they invited Planned Parenthood
Yeah.
to show up and literally to provide free abortions. And the last count that I heard, there was at least 25 abortions that were done. And this is very like celebratory, in your face. This is who we are. This is our platform, which falls under this whole, woke ideology that used to be very, very quiet, but now it is just outrageous. They had people parading in giant birth control pills and
gosh.
18-foot uteruses that were like it was it's just a circus. It is a circus of evil
Right.
that is basically promoting death.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
there's no other way to describe it. Of course, they put it under human rights, and of course this is the new revelation that they want to espouse.
Right.
And of course, everything contrary to pro-life and
Yep.
conservatism. But it is like downright bizarre.
Yeah. Well, clearly they're making a statement about, their party. Hey, this is what we stand for. This is what we believe in. And clearly they want to be known for that. You know what I mean? From their perspective, pro-choice, which is how they cover it up, which is obviously taking the life of an innocent baby. But this is what they want to be. This is what they want to be known for, because I think that they also know that there is this obsession with my rights over others,
Right.
even at the cost of your life, at the cost of
Right.
an innocent child's life.
Right.
that there is that within even the culture there,
Right.
and so they obviously use that to their advantage. I think to buy votes,
Yeah.
essentially.
Well, they talk about women's rights. So if the child is female, is a woman, which, by the way, this group also refuses to now put any gender on any kind of human. But so if it is a female, does that female not have any rights?
Right.
So it's only the rights of the person that that got pregnant and now is going to deal with this. But and we can go deeper into the conversation, but to invite or to have these people at your convention,
Yeah.
and that this is your calling card.
Yep.
This is your calling card.
Yeah.
Is absolutely evil and wicked. There's something demented. Like I hope I can have the words to describe them. And in our country, it's the people that are liberal on the left side.
Right.
And by the way, you have Catholics and quote unquote people of Christian faith. And I put that in quotations,
Yeah.
that vote for I don't know how you vote
Right.
for people like this. And maybe this is where we, when we speak to the believers, because we encourage people to vote, right? Whether it's in our election or obviously in their election for Americans, it's, maybe you got to start looking at the aspects of morality,
Right.
and not just economics and various things, but how you could, as a believer, if you're a follower of Christ, vote for these people. And by the way, it's not only abortion, right? It's assisted suicide, it's euthanasia.
Yep.
Like, they just love death from beginning right to the end.
Right.
And they'll help you to kill yourself and to take your life.
Yeah.
The book of Proverbs clearly tells us that they that love death hate wisdom and hate God.
Wow.
So they are telling you, this is the side of the equation that we're on. And they are, Pastor Mo, they're brash. They're arrogant. They're brash. They're proud
Right.
of what they stand for. Like they are the new illumination.
Right.
And it is quite honestly, it is frightening. It is frightening that they are so married to these beliefs
Yeah.
that it is, as you said, it's at the cost of anybody else's life.
Right. Yeah. And there is this obsession with death, and I'm glad you pointed that scripture out of Proverbs, that is totally contrary to the God of the Bible, who promotes life. In fact, he's had issues even in the Old Testament. You can talk, we can look at where Israel got, involved with other cultures and other nations who would offer child sacrifices. And that's exactly what's happening here. And God had to give them over to those kinds of things because, as a form of judgment. And so I think we have to be careful here as well as Christians to go, hey, God still looks at us to do what is right, not just to, vote for the person who looks like us or who, it's like that's not what God is asking us to look at. Like as believers, we've got to have a higher standard even for, especially for voting, because then that has so many implications as to where the nations go, because people follow suit. Obviously, everyone's looking at America as the standard, and people follow suit. So that's an incredible responsibility, I think, on believers to not just go, oh yeah, well, she could be the first woman of color to be in office. Is like, is that really like how you want to, lead your vote? Like, rather than actually looking at things with a moral conscience to go, hey, this is right, this is wrong, and I'm going to vote for whatever's right.
Yeah. Now, what people are going to say, I could hear it already. You think Trump is moral?
Right.
You don't think he has issues, and he does have issues. He has personal issues, but when it comes to things of morality, like the taking of human lives, and by the way, they are even talking about full birth abortions, right? Full-term abortions. That's what I'm looking for. Where now what? The baby's going to be born, you're going to go, oh, it's a girl, I don't want it, or it's a boy, I don't want it. Like, and to your point, God not only judged Israel, but God used Israel to judge the other nations. And this was one of the areas. And so has God's measuring stick changed? It has not. Has his morality changed? It has not. And so when you think of America, you know, aborting some 60 to 70 million babies. These are human beings.
Yeah.
60 to 70 million. It's probably more.
Right.
How much more will God tolerate without judging this nation? Now we know that the Supreme Court, there have been laws that have shifted the nation more towards pro-life, and that's why the radicals go even more radical. Like they're really fighting against what's happened in the court systems because there has been a move back towards some common sense. And so, you know, rather than having discussion on this and having, you know, conversations, well, they just go right to the most radical edge. And whether this, you know, some people have said, is it the same Democratic Party? You have a lot of radicalism, a lot of extreme left and woke theology, if you will, and belief system. It's amazing. It's only the people on the right that seems to be the conspiracy and the right wing, but the left is never painted as evil or wicked, but they are right out of their mind insane.
Absolutely.
And they're asking people to support them, to vote for them, and this is their platform. It is scary. You have to wonder what will if they win, what will the future actually look like? And by the way, even in our country, because we're not here to bash America, but our prime minister, when anti-abortion laws were passed in America, you know what he said? Come here, come here, kill your babies up here. Like
wild.
What world are we living in?
Wow, that's crazy.
And if as a believer, you cannot make a moral decision and you cannot discern, because this really seems to be the line. This is the line of demarcation. If you cannot discern which side of the equation you need to be on when it comes to life or death, I really have some grave concerns for you.
Yeah. Jeez.
Those are my thoughts.
Those are good thoughts. Hey, listen, thank you for joining us for today's episode. Man, I love what you said there at the end, Pastor. You got to have the discernment, especially as a believer, to know the difference between not just right and wrong, but in this case, life and death. And so hopefully that gives you a little bit of clarity. As always, we continue to pray, obviously, for not only our nation, but the nations. And we know that there is a God on the throne. And so we take courage in that. But thank you for joining us for today's episode. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, like this video, share it with a couple people you know. And hey, let us know in the comments what you think of all that is taking place south of our border. Thank you for this conversation, Pastor.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. We'll see you next time.